They say that the need to fix everything is bad for you in the long run. That staying on top of repairing or just maintaining everything that breaks or withers away quickly becomes a nightmare to keep up with. This terrarium is an example of an old project that should have just been allowed to go its merry old rundown way, but I just couldn't get rid of it. I think we should return it to its former glory. Its remnants speak of ancient, lush and tropical growth, as if its stories are still hidden inside, waiting to be told by a fresh new coat of chlorophyll. So that's exactly what we'll give it in this video. This very old substrate is not much to look at anymore, so I think I'll just get rid of it and start over. There we go, out with the old and in with the new. Wait a second, this isn't good enough. Let's clean the glass real quick. There we go, that's better, isn't it? I'm leaving some of the moss in the cracks between the rocks for a reason. It may actually come back to life. The rocks are glued to the glass with expanding foam, and in this case it made sense to use the black variant as it matches the rocks almost exactly. It's easy to tell if you look closely, but when planted with moss and other plants, the foam will be almost invisible. This is why I couldn't throw this jar away. Check it out from the inside. I think it looks so awesome. For the false bottom, I will use black aquarium gravel, so it follows the dark theme of the background. This bottom layer will act as a safeguard against stagnant water in the substrate. Stagnant water could actually cause root rot in the plants. I usually rinse it down before adding it. This time I didn't, and as you can see it got a bit dusty. I chose to make the false bottom around 3 centimeters deep, or just over an inch. After adding the gravel, I smooth it out with my hand to even it out. It's important that the substrate and the false bottom are separated from each other, and to make that happen I will use this weed fabric. I cut it a little bit bigger than the bottom area of the jar, and from there I'll make adjustments as needed. It looks a bit scruffy, so I'll even it out just a bit with my scissors. Who said cutting corners won't get the job done? In this case, it will make it easier getting the fabric flush with the corners of the jar. Time to put it into the terrarium. With the background in the way, it was a lot more finicky than it usually is, but it'll all look good in the end. This is the substrate mix I'll be using. I'll write down the components in the description below. If you have any questions, fire away in the comments. As I put the substrate in the jar, I make it slope towards the back to create a sense of depth. If you haven't seen me do it before, surely you've seen others use this technique. To help the plants root better, I stick dead sphagnum moss in the cracks between the rocks. This will help with moisture retention too. For the background, I will start with the moss. I'll be using Java moss, Christmas moss and Liverwort. Technically, Liverworts aren't mosses, but we'll talk about that in another video. The moss and liverworts will go on the background where it will spread over time. I've learned that the liverwort is best placed in larger clumps, whilst the Christmas moss and Java moss can be placed one tiny piece at a time. As you can see, it's a very finicky process and some of the moss keep falling down, but that's okay. I know that the moss will spread across the rock wall over time, so I try not to add too much at this stage. After placing the moss in the background, it's time for a proper half-time spray down. And now it's time for the fun part, the plants. These are the main plants I'll be using in this build, and I'll list all of them in the description below. This African violet will be the centerpiece in the substrate. All of the plants in this clip will be fine even though I take rootless cuttings. In the right conditions, they will root in no time anyway. After wiping down the front sides, it's time to start planting. The key is to get the vines situated between the rocks so that they are held in place that way, which was easier said than done. Here's some sped up footage of me practicing trial and error for your enjoyment. It's nice to watch others work, right? To complement the plants, I went for a mossy foreground, choosing temperate mosses I foraged myself. Remember the African lily I mentioned earlier? It will fill in the corner beautifully over time, and that's one of the reasons I love using it. This is where we're at so far. If you think it looks good, why not tell me in the comments, subscribe, or give the video a like. A tiny channel like mine can use all the help it can get. Thank you. It's starting to look good, but my gut told me we need some more cuttings to make it even better. This Marcgravia cutting is just totally perfect, isn't it? It's better to be safe than sorry. Time for some more misting to make the plant cuttings feel loved. I'm not sure what, but we're still missing a key detail. What could elevate this scape like nothing else? There we have it. These dried heather twigs that I've kept for the perfect project will look great in this terrarium, I think. The way they bend reminds me of lianas in the primary rainforests I visited in Southeast Asia. Just beautiful. If you want a similar look, spiderwood will do the job just as well for you. Next on the list is turning this planted jar into an ecosystem by adding springtails as the cleanup crew to feed on mold and decaying matter. They're super tiny, but the work they do to keep the system thriving is huge. And that concludes this project. As always, let me know your thoughts and subscribe if you feel like I earned it. If you want more, why not check out one of my other projects? And don't miss my next video.